It's your girl Nikita.
It's your girl Tash.
And you're listening to Two Chickpeas and a Podcast. Yeah, great sound effects from our very special guest on the podcast today. He is an amazing actor, star in Get Duked on Amazon Prime. Go stream that now. Also, the male lead in the phenomenon that is Little English. In selected cinemas right now. Go get your tickets. Let's get into it.
Woo!
Viraj Juneja is on the podcast, people.
Let's give a round of applause.
Finally.
Wow. The stars have aligned.
Wow.
You're here.
The stars have aligned, literally.
Yeah. That's what. Let's do a cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers,
man.
everybody.
To our £7 pints.
£9 bloody glass of wine.
You got a top up though, Tash, innit?
I did, yeah. If you don't ask, you don't get.
She flirted with him so hard.
Mm.
No, I didn't. I said, give me some more, man.
Give me. No, and I've taken a few things. I've taken a muscle relaxant and I'm having a glass of wine.
And now vitamins.
And then vitamins just
to get mobile again, get into it.
Don't approach 30 people, your back goes, okay? Viraj, I'm really, really, really excited that you're here today.
So am I.
Your energy is insane, and I love being around you. I know we only met at the Little English.
We met once.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's so infectious. Even when we were talking on Instagram, because we've been at events around each other and missed each other, then we'll connect on Instagram and we're like, why have you not said hello? So when Little English was coming out, just slid in your DMs, and I'm trying here, people.
They're open. Clearly.
And literally you're so warm, you're so lovely. And
thank you.
no, I'm not joking. When we met after watching Little English, it's just straight away hug. It's like we've known each other for ages.
Literally, that was so lovely. You came up to us like, oh my God, it's the chickpeas.
It's the
I
chickpeas,
was like,
man. It's the chickpeas. The Chana Masala behind me.
Exactly.
The spice in your life, you know?
The MDH behind me.
First of all, congratulations on the release of Little English. I cannot say enough good things about the film, truly. I don't even know where to begin, really, with the film, other than it's so needed. And when I've been telling people about the podcast and us being lucky enough to have you on it, I just keep saying it's the best thing since Bend It Like Beckham, but we haven't had to whitewash it to make it a successful story. And it's so exciting to see two Asian, South Asian leads in a film, a predominant South Asian cast. And yes, the story is set in the UK, but that doesn't necessarily mean we need
well, it's in Slough. So
Yeah.
I would argue that's not in the UK.
I mean, it's down the road.
So,
well, it's not in London. That's the come for me if you want
Well,
to. Slide in the
the
DM.
TFL 81 goes there, so I think, you can.
Well, it's on the Lizzie line, but I don't think the Oyster works outside of that. So
What can you do?
I don't know. Don't use your Oyster on the train.
So set in Slough, predominantly Asian area, just like the areas we're from, Hounslow and Southall.
Southall, massive.
And I just think it's so nice to have this piece of art in the world, because that's what it is. It truly is a
massive.
piece of art, really, truly. So many topics and points in the film that are so needed in our community and the conversations that need to be had.
Yeah.
I'll list a bunch, but we need to get into it, really. So things that came to me straight away were issues of generational trauma, mental health, attitudes towards people within our own community and our ability to speak English or not understand it, and the divide in that. And I think that is so interesting to me. Especially with your character, Harry Baby?
Yeah.
Haribal. Yes. Let's get into that, actually, because that's really one of the most used clips I've been seeing online is where you're trying to stop Simi from leaving the house and you're like, I don't understand you and you're Punjabi. And I think that's so relatable for me, especially because I can't speak my mother tongue at all.
Which is?
Gujarati and Hindi. My mom's Gujarati and dad speaks Hindi. Punjabi. So yeah, we can understand these
Do you
things.
speak like if you try to speak it now, because you've grown up hearing both, do you speak like a mishmash of both together?
No, I feel like I can probably speak it, but I just never do because I always get shy.
Is it
That's
that
the
voice in
thing.
your head that's like, oh no, don't say that, that's not the right tense
Yeah,
or whatever?
something like that. Or I don't know, because growing up we never spoke it. So then all of a sudden for me to just randomly start speaking it, I feel like people are going to be like, what are you saying? Like, so I just sometimes get shy. I think, Nikki, you make more of an effort.
I don't
Yes,
know
you
where
do.
she gets that from, because I honestly have like a choke if I go to say it. So it's like my brain knows what to say, and I'll go to say it and I'll be like,
Yeah.
and I just can't. And it definitely stems from, go on, say it. You know you want to say it.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not
say
saying
it.
nothing. I'm
Yeah.
a really lovely sister.
Is that okay? No, it definitely stems from when I was younger, trying to speak the languages, and there's like a few to try and like grasp really. And I have such a predominant British accent, I think.
I think we accentuate it though, right? When we're around, like, if I go to India now,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, they know straight away, right? They know straight away, like, this
Yeah,
guy's from
don't know. Yeah, you're not from
So
here.
they're like
Yeah.
they're speaking Hindi to their friend or Punjabi or Gujarati whatever, and they'll turn to you and be like, yes my friend, come. And you're like, oh yeah, but then you suddenly be like, yes brother, what's the orange juice
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
What, 20 rupees? Nah man, it's too much. In South we pay for 10, do you know what I mean?
I think, yeah, I think Indians in India or like other countries, they
sniff you
can,
out,
yeah,
they
they
sniff you
can
out.
sense you from a mile away and try and bump you and all of this. But
And it's that thing of like, well here you're not
yeah,
Indian enough,
yeah,
and then there you're like, you're so English.
exactly.
And it's like, oh okay, cool man.
Exactly.
I'm just in that niche of people who have like, are classed probably as a little bit whitewashed,
Yeah.
but I still feel so connected to my roots.
Yes, yeah, and I think you portray that so well with Harry's
With Harry,
character.
yeah, Harry.
He is that complex of I've been like born and raised here. Like I don't necessarily speak my mother language.
But yeah, he understands
Yeah.
everything that Simi is
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
And she's saying stuff in Punjabi and he's saying, no, yes, no. Suddenly I don't understand you, leave me alone.
no, but also like what I thought was really sweet, like a really sweet moment in the film is when you write your name on the wall in Punjabi, and it's like you're unlocking this part to yourself that maybe I got like a sense from the character, like they pushed that aside,
Yeah.
and then it was coming out, and it felt comfortable to do so because Simi is
Well,
here.
yeah, she's the one who sort of brings that out of him. Like you said, she evokes that sort of,
Yeah.
the love of his culture and his roots. And she brings so much to the family without giving any spoilers away. But she really does help connect him to his past
Yeah.
that he's denied for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think for me as well, because I've grown up in Southall and all your relatives are speaking Punjabi or whatever, because I didn't learn it from a young age. I was always so, you know, your grandparents would say something, you'd be like, Mom, grandpa's saying, or you just pretend you're just like, if you sit really still, they'll just speak to your parents instead, and then you should pretend like you're deaf or something, or they don't notice you.
For real.
And then over time, it's just like that thing of, I know what, like, if someone says something to me, I know what it means. I can reply, but I'm replying in English.
Yeah.
And then to them, it comes across as, oh, this guy doesn't want to speak Punjabi. So he's, like, going out of his way to understand it and reply in English. But that's my natural response.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I speak to my daddy every single time we
you know what I mean?
speak. She will speak in Hindi and I reply in English every time.
And you understand everything.
Yeah,
word for word.
everything.
But if it comes to you, you're
Yeah.
usually like, you, Hanji, yes, nay,
Yeah.
koi baat
Yeah.
nahi, whatever. You comes to you, no, auntie is fine, man. Leave is fine.
Auntie,
And
please.
it's so bad.
Yeah.
But then I'll try to chuck in one or two words to almost like give myself a little impetus to go from
Yeah.
there. And then you add a few more words, and then they start laughing.
That's the thing, isn't it? If they
That's
start
the thing.
laughing, that's why you don't. It's like, yo,
them
you're
when they
knocking my
put you
confidence.
down, man. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Or when I tried to speak Hindi before, I didn't know, like, I started speaking the male
Yeah.
present tense
Yeah.
and the
Right.
female, and I started to say the lines of the female present. My mum was like, what are you doing? Just stop. Like, oh my god, you know what you're
You're
saying?
trying. It's like,
But
yeah.
it's also like, yeah, it's like this blame is put on you, and it's like, but you're my family, and you're like trying to teach me, so like, why is it all on me, sort of thing? Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I'm getting laughed at, and I have to like deal with the anxiety every time I'm gonna have a conversation with you guys. Yeah,
I do think it's up to me though. Like, this is the craziest thing. I love languages.
yeah,
Like, I love languages. Like, I think we started doing German at school, and like within a year, I was like obsessed with it. Just because it was just, I found it so cool to be able to go and like talk to someone in German. I love accents, so putting it on and actually making sense rather than being a caricature. And then I did like a 2-week sort of exchange program in Germany and stuff like that. And even now, if I see people and I'll say something, they're like, "Oh, your accent's so good. How long are you in Germany for?" I was like, "Oh, 2 weeks." Like, "Is that it?" And I'm like,
Love
"Yeah."
that.
And my mum was so annoyed because I came home from school like speaking German. She was like, "I've been trying to teach you Hindi for like 20 years, and you've picked up German of all places."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, man."
I watched some of your Instagram stories and you were doing like some really good accents,
Oh,
like
yeah?
Scottish accent.
The Irish
Yeah.
accent, I cannot do. Like, famously cannot do.
Oh, yeah?
I can't do any accents. That's my
Should we have a
problem.
little accent game on your podcast?
Okay, what do you want to do?
I think we should. All right, let's give Tash one. Let's give you Australian.
G'day, mate. I can't believe that you slept with her. Oh, that's more New Zealand.
You've been watching so much Married
I
at
watched
First
Married at First Sight. If you didn't see the last episode, I'm obsessed with Married at First Sight Australia, by the way.
Is that okay?
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you've just done that. You're taking me for a fool." Is that all right? Is that all right?
Sure, yeah.
Oh my God.
You're like
I
the
thought-
accent
I thought that was
master.
right. Yeah, I was expecting worse, I'll be honest. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where you started, but you ended up somewhere Australasia sort of region. So
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Lubricated.
Monster, Viraj, voulez-vous... Can't even complete it. Voulez-vous avec moi ce soir?
Oh God, can we put that
You
on the
can't even pronounce that properly.
Hanji.
Hanji. That is like...
Yes. Petit bras.
I'm so sorry because I know I didn't say that properly.
What were you
but
trying to say?
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Voulez-vous
Avec moi?
ce soir?
You don't...
Is that a song?
Yeah.
ABBA.
I forgot you're like,
Abba?
what? What?
It's
from-
Yeah. Okay, you're like
Yeah,
off the hook.
totally.
No, it's more like Pink and Missy Elliott and like Christina Aguilera, you know.
Moulin Rouge?
Maybe I'm not that
He's
whitewashed.
only 26,
You're
guys.
only like
Maybe
a
I'm
couple.
not that whitewashed. So
Oh
okay.
my gosh. No, it's like a thing and it means, will you come to bed with me?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you
And you said
openly
Hanji.
saying yes.
Oh my God, that's on camera as well.
Mm-hmm. What can I say?
Okay, Viraj, we need to do your accent, please.
Yeah, go on.
Just give us your best accent. Give us your favourite.
Give me one. Man.
I think your Irish accent was really good. Go on to do the
Irish.
Irish.
Your Scottish was really good. Oh,
All
you're
right,
gonna...
Scottish. All right,
Oh,
pint.
yes.
So I'm drinking a pint again. So I thought maybe try my Irish accent out, but fuck it, can I swear on it?
Yeah,
Fuck it then, a wee little tipple, 2 chickpeas in a podcast, alright? A little bit of haggis, alright? Have a good day, lads, alright? Take care, alright? A bit of scran and drink.
That was so good.
You know the worst thing is, I thought I was sick of the Scottish, and then when I was in Scotland doing Get Juked, and my other classmates were like, "Your accent is shocking."
Really?
Terrible, yeah.
No, theirs must be so much thicker as well. Do you know what I mean? It must vary across
I think
Scotland.
so. But it's just in general, I think because they can see me trying, they're just like...
Maybe it's performance anxiety. We know other people that have that, you know.
But the
Some people have it when
relatives.
they're driving.
Anyway, so
coming
let's move on.
okay.
We're going to talk about...
No.
No.
I'm not trying to-
Anyway, I just want to talk about...
Can we start? Can I ask you, where did you get your license? Was it Mexico? Are you McLovin?
This is not part. I'm going to edit this out.
I'm
dead. Oh my gosh.
You know when some people could have just taken the bus or their own car?
They would have
You know what I mean?
They would have got it safer. Oh my God.
Some people should just use their own petrol.
I got out. I touched the ground. I was like, thank you God. Thanks, man.
He's exaggerating.
Also, do you know what? I listened. The first episode I listened to your podcast of
Yeah.
was when you did Never Have I Ever review.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And you said, and do you know, like there's sometimes when I listen to a podcast and like, it's so frustrating because like if I think of a joke that I think you guys are gonna say and it's so obvious, I'm shouting at my thing going, say that thing. And there was one thing you said, yeah, and
Was it me?
sounds so minor, and I think
It's always Tasha.
it might have been you.
Tasha's always the
But it's
good
like
one.
you said, oh, it was so good, the show. I loved it because it opened and she's praying to God. And she's like, oi, wagwan, God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's wagwan, bugwan. I was like, ah, man.
Damn, how did I get that wrong?
Ah, it's fine.
Bars,
It's cool. We
rhymes.
Record it, man. We record it. I just thought I'd get it off my chest. Just to show I'm a big fan as well.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
honestly honoured. Like, I'm, really honoured that you...
We are.
Oh my gosh.
I might have switched off after that bit, but it was sick.
Anyway, well, you just did a great Scottish accent, in my opinion. Anyway, I just want to say I loved Get Juked.
Yes.
I loved it. I thought it was so good, guys. If you haven't seen it, it's on Amazon.
Amazon Prime original.
Stream it.
Yes.
So good. I thought that, you know what, for what it was as well, like it was such a good storyline, and then it was really scary. Like I was actually holding my.
you said
Honestly, yeah. You know when you like throw the. By the way, your character is amazing. We'll
Oh,
get
I
into
love
that in
him.
1 second. But
Yeah.
there's a part where you throw your shoes away, and then it lands on this
yeah.
body, or like you know you
The
just see the
foot.
fingers, and I literally was like, oh my god, I did not know that this was that kind of film, and it is so scary. And the other characters with their masks.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was shitting myself.
Well,
I was
also
so
to
scared.
say, like, The Simpsons actually made an episode inspired by our film.
No
They,
way.
they tweeted us saying today's episode inspired by Get Juked.
Oh, that's
That's
major.
sick, yeah. Which
That's
is sick.
major.
And they
Oh my
had like,
God.
so they had some of those characters wearing like different masks. You check it out. You need to check
Oh
it
my
out.
gosh, yeah, I have to. That was so good. And your character, DJ Beetroot, oh
DJ
my
Beetroot.
god, it was so good.
I
It
loved
was so
man.
good.
And that's just. I feel like that's just me. Like I don't feel like I was playing.
I
a
literally
character.
felt like that as well. Like I was like, okay, cool. We've only met a few times, well, once really, if you think
Yeah.
about it, yeah.
Until you picked
But I
up.
was like, and then
Now you got me.
you had like the Southall boy, like bad boy
Yeah.
look going on with the little like
Yeah, then the little
tash, the little slits in the
eyebrow.
brows.
Yeah, man.
the earrings, so funny, and then your little poncho thing and your
Yeah.
white. What were you wearing? White Air Forces or something? You were wearing white trainers?
Yeah, boy.
They're from the shoot.
They're from the
They're
shoot.
from the
No,
shoot.
mate, oh
Lift
my
your
God.
leg up really
Yeah.
high. Let the
You
people
can say
know.
that anyway with your French.
A part of you from that film is here with us today.
Always.
That's
But
so crazy.
I feel like that's me. I feel like that character was me when I read it.
Yeah.
It was so weird because they asked me to. I don't know if you've seen it, so it's a bit of a spoiler. But there's like a freestyle that he does about his dick,
Yeah.
and they sent the audition script to do a couple of scenes, and then they said, "Could you also do the rap?" And I was doing Easter's East at the time, the
Yeah.
theatre show, and I was like, my mum was helping me do my audition tape, so we did the tape, and I was like, "Mum, one more thing," and I looked at the rap, and I was like, "No, that's it. Actually, that's fine. I'm not gonna do that to you."
Imagine if you did
I was
that
like,
running my
no
mum.
way. And then sent the tapes through, and they really liked the tapes. And they're like, oh, but we didn't get your rap. And luckily, I was in Nottingham now with one of
yeah.
my classmates. And I was like, hey, do you mind just like coming downstairs and like recording this thing for me? I didn't tell him what it was. I was like, I'm just doing this rap for camera. And like, because like when you stay in digs, it's like someone else's house that they're renting a room out to you. And I was just looking through his drawer. I found like a dictionary, and I was just like, yeah, dictionary, whatever for this
So
rap.
funny.
And then my friends behind the camera going,
What the hell are you doing?
Oh,
this
so
for?
you like that's your original rap, like your.
no, I
own-
did like it was the one that
Oh,
they
okay.
said. But then
Okay, yeah.
actually I did. They asked me if I was happy with it.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, what about these two lines at the
Yeah,
end?
yeah,
They
yeah.
used it and they gave me a writing credit as well for the
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
boy. Yeah. Man's
You
got
did write
bars.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but great film. And then so going from something like Get Juked, obviously you're one of four boys, you're one of you're the only Indian boy, the only Asian boy
Yeah,
in there,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
know with three other castmates that are white.
in the film, I think, in the whole thing.
In the whole film, yeah, exactly. That's right.
Which was a little bit weird because like even like cast and crew wise is very white, and obviously being a
Right.
Scottish film, like everyone in the industry, I feel like behind the scenes is white there. I remember being on the set and I was like, oh, there's no one of colour.
Right.
It's not a problem, of course. No one said anything. It wasn't like I feel really out of place. It was just.
But it's
interesting.
noticeable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I just felt like, oh, this is just something that stuck out for me. But I think that is changing, and also, producer did say something about why that was in terms of who they could get. You know, obviously, you're making a film. You want experienced people. I just don't know if there was anyone of color who had experience in those fields that they had like worked with in the past. I'm not sure.
Well, going from like a film like that to Little English, where predominantly the cast is Asian, how did it feel? Like, what's the difference? Did you feel like just more like homely, or did it kind of just did it still feel like work but just more comfortable?
It could
How did it feel?
it felt like a family. Like
Yeah.
even like just watching you guys in the
Yeah,
Q&A
for sure.
afterwards, like you could tell like the bonds have been made. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's weird because like we actually filmed in a real house. It's not a set.
Yeah.
It was like the producer's mother-in-law's house. Sorry if I've given a spoiler. I'm not allowed to say that. But I think that for me makes it more special because like it's so close. And I don't know if you've been on a film set before, but everything is so specifically designed.
Yeah.
So that if you want to go from a shot from me to you, the camera just literally can move like that. But when you're in a house, you know,
Everything
I
has to
remember one
move.
time stepping outside and then coming back in thinking, why is it going on for so long, this sort of transition? And I see them unscrewing a fireplace in the corner going, oh yeah, you forget it's a real house. And they're having to take the fireplace out.
Yeah, because
The
you
camera.
can move, but the camera needs to like move with you and like have all of that. And it's I can imagine it being a lot
took
harder.
a long time,
yeah,
and it was a real house. So you know, there was like these 2 bedrooms upstairs, and Harry's bedroom, my bedroom. I got like they like specifically put all these things there, like the tape recorder that he used to make music with his dad, and there were like little things that were like stuck in time almost because he's come out of prison and he's not been in that room for a long time. And I remember just being in that room and just like I napped in that room most days. I napped in that room, and there was like a double bed in the other room.
Yeah.
That was almost like our green room, and everyone took turns to like nap in that room. And I came upstairs one day. I wasn't even meant to be until lunch, but I came in early. I was like, had a towel on me, everything. I walked into the bedroom to go for a little nap, and then Pravesh, the director, was in bed. He goes, "Don't come here, I'm ill." I was like, "Oh, it's alright, I'll go to the one next door, man. I'll go for nap over around the corner." And that was like the whole family vibe where like I've not had that before, because you can be so far away on film sets, like in your dressing room. People go straight to their dressing rooms or their trailers and whatnot, and you lose that sense of like closeness. Whereas this one is you can't fucking get away from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't escape me.
Which is the case in most Indian households. Like you're all like crammed in together, like you're all kind of on top of each other in a way, and you just kind of have to get on with it, and you're all having to function around each other, and it's just a madness, really. So
madness. But like that thing of like me being like my character, almost growing up not knowing Punjabi too well, but your family almost saying like, "Why aren't you speaking it? Why aren't you speaking it?" And then being in that environment where we're filming and everyone's cracking jokes in Punjabi around you, and you're like, "Oh wow, this is a film set." You're laughing and stuff, and then they'd speak to you in Punjabi, but I'm still reverting to my, "Nah man, let me focus on the scene," or whatever. And they're like, "Why are you not speaking?" I'm just like, "Oh no, I'm just in character." Just like trying to pass it off. But it reminds me so much of home. And I remember the day we did a scene of there's like a puja going on. Oh my god, man!
Incredible, by the way, from you. Like amazing.
Thank you.
Got chills. Yeah.
Oh, that means a lot. 'Cause a lot of effort went into that. But I remember just coming down the stairs from a nap and just seeing a puja. Like the white sheets are out. There's the fruit. There's the laddu. There's the the picture of dad and the flower garland, everything. And I was like, oh my god, I've never seen anything like this on TV or film or screen. And we're doing it.
Yeah.
Like in that moment, I was like, oh, this is special.
Because you guys don't really whitewash anything in the film, and I can't stress that enough. Like it's such a good reflection of our community, our culture, our practices, like our family dynamics. Like you guys really captured it so well. And it's just a nice way for audiences to try and like understand us a bit more, I suppose, because we out here, baby, we in the UK. No, but I honestly, it was so good. Like even just with learning that Amit was, tying his own turban. I couldn't believe that Ramit is not from India. Like I honestly really thought. No, I really thought like, oh, like who is this actress? Like where is she from in India? Like I was really trying to think.
When we were listening to the Q&A and she had this British accent, I was like,
so,
what?
So British though. So
British.
British.
So British.
Like and then when she was explaining the work she was doing to really get the accent down and things like that's how good of a job she did, because I really didn't think she was from here at all.
And people think it's like you're getting a script and they say Indian accent, okay, we're just going to talk like that.
Yeah.
If it was a white show or people with white producers, that's what they want, that's fine. But this is, like you're saying, we don't whitewash anything, we don't beat around any bush. We're going authentic. I remember her having conversations with Pravesh going, is she more like Tate or from the village? And I was like, what does that even mean? Like, oh my God, for me it was just do an accent. Like maybe it was, I was a little bit ignorant as well. And like how she wanted to make sure that she was authentically portraying that person. It's only when it was funny because I've seen the film maybe like, I want to say 11 times now, but only after Friday have I seen it without sitting next to Ramit, because obviously we're going to screenings and everything. And I went to opening night in Hounslow and I wasn't sitting next to her because she wasn't there. And it's only then when I actually sort of disconnect from that person, you can actually watch their performance. And I just went, oh my God. I've seen this film about 10 times, but only now am I seeing how incredible she is.
No, she's a talent beyond like belief, really.
Unreal. And obviously knowing her now, seeing that contrast to screen, I don't recognise her on screen. I think that's the biggest compliment you can pay to an actor. I don't see any of her on screen. It's mad. Because at the time it was just you're having a laugh, having a bit of fun with your friend who's doing, putting on this sort of character, but she lived it. She embodied every single part. And that's not an easy part to play.
No, not at all.
You come over from India you're lost in this world, you're emotionally vulnerable, you're frustrated, you're confused where your husband's gone. And then to have so many amazing comedic beats, and she brings the family together, and to be part of a love story, and she nails every single one effortlessly.
Yeah.
It's incredible. She's an amazing.
No, honestly, I can't say enough good words. Like, I really am like losing the words, because you have to go see this film.
You have to see it.
She does an incredible job, and yeah, her character's journey, and just like the whole complexity within her character herself, like she does an amazing job with it. And as do you, really. Like, you know, when I was like, you were talking about the Buddha scene, like, and it gave me chills, like, to see you like take the £20 from like the offering, really. And that was like,
Very naughty.
I know, because that's like an unheard, like you would never do that.
Yeah, that's
like
the ultimate sort of
right?
ultimate,
yeah. And that's when you could tell like this film is like, because I feel like the trailer gives off a more comedic feel to the film, and actually you watch it and it's so much more than that.
It's so cliche, but it's a massive journey.
Yeah.
It's a massive journey.
Yeah.
Like, even when I was describing it to someone, like last year after we filmed it, or the year before, I said, you know, it's this girl who comes from India, her husband does a runner, so she's trapped in this house with a controlling mother-in-law, and the granddad's got dementia, and the brothers come out of prison. And he was like, oh, it's like a really dark, sort of gritty, like, thriller. And I was like, more of a rom-com feel-good film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
He's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I've not explained that properly, but it is that, and it is that.
Because the film has such a great way of like, even in its darkest moments, it like lifts you up. And I feel like in lots of Indian families, like there is this sense of like there's so much going on within the household, and again that's what's so good about the film, that like so much of it does take place in the house, because
cooker, right?
yeah, and so much happens behind closed doors in like South Asian families, and then like how you are to the outside world, or even how you are outside of the house,
And that's embodied by Seema, the mum.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even recognise in real life.
I know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't. I was like, oh my God, that's her. Like,
Do you know, we were at BFI for our premiere, and it was me, Ramit, Pravesh and Seema, and this guy came up and he was like, well done to me, well done to Ramit, well done to Prav, and then he was like, you guys are amazing. Also, I'd love to meet the mother. And they were like, that's her.
because she's so young.
She's, yeah.
And, well, she looks really young.
She's like, oh my God, man, she's got a wig on in the film. The way she's embodied the walk as well.
Yeah.
The clothes, oh my God, man, like the job that she did cannot be understated.
No, but everyone like really brings
their
their A
part.
game.
Exactly,
Like
exactly.
really, like even Nikki Patel.
Oh
My God. She was everyone we went to school with.
Yeah.
Like honestly, every girl we went to school with was
Nikki
her.
is just
Yeah.
there's just the loveliest person
Yeah.
ever. Like, she's just so sweet. And I'm so glad that I got to work with her, because a lot of the stuff that we were doing, it was like in the car.
So funny.
For me and her, right?
Yeah.
So like we were just like in between take, we were just talking and just like, hey, how are you? Right? Yeah. So you're from whatever. And this, but it's like the same vibe with you guys. It was just like I knew her.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's like I just knew her, and we were just like catching up almost. I don't know, from a previous life or whatnot, but there was that ease straight away. And she's as lovely as a person. She's so nice, and she's very different to Sweetie, the character she plays.
Yeah.
And so it'd be so lovely to see, because like Nikki's very sort of like, she's just very easygoing, very much not about herself at all. And then suddenly action, she's like, and I'm like, oh my God. And it's one of those moments where I'm like, oh my God, you're so
Yeah, because her character literally is like Hanzo girl, like Southall girl, like literally
Trying to be an influencer.
self-obsessed,
Yeah.
self-obsessed. The way she owns every space that
Yeah.
she's in. Like, she's driving a Fiat 500, but she's driving it like it's a Lamborghini with a roof down. And it's like, whoa, man. And then even just getting to know her after properly.
Yeah.
Oh, she's just beautiful, man. Beautiful souls. And that was everyone on the film, though.
Yeah.
I think that's why it works.
And no, and there is like, yeah, like you said, that's why it works, because there's a different reflection of within each character of a life or element of what it is to be in like a South Asian family or the community. Even the auntie's name who owns the jewelry store, Urmila.
Yeah,
and she has like the blue contacts, because she's that whitewashed Indian who's really wants to like fit in with like white society.
And the policeman, she wants to
yeah, and everything is like, I know all
and
of
she
these
wants
people.
to prove her worth to the community,
Yeah.
to say like, I'm the big shot round here.
Yeah, but also really like embodies is that like busybody auntie who's up in everyone's business, who's judging everyone, especially Harry, and like, you know, what's he up to now? And he's out to cause trouble. But again, in doing that, like that's something that's pretty much like toxic within the culture, but like so embedded within the culture, and she adds such a good like comedic feel to it as well. So like the craziest thing could be happening, and there's always little points in the film that like pick you up. And it's just
I think the comic relief of the aunties in the film is like perfect, because otherwise it might have got a bit too emotional and a bit sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say depressing, but a bit sort of like in your feels in a way. And I think Prav, the director, it's just, he knows his audience so well. He's been doing this for 20 years. He runs a Rifco Theatre Company. And I don't know if you've been to Watford Palace to see some of his shows.
Not
We're
yet.
about to.
We're about to.
You're missing out. Honestly, you're missing out. Like, you're gonna be obsessed.
No, we're gonna go see Happy Birthday, Sunita. So
But some of the stuff I've seen over the years, it's like, it's almost like how I feel a bit embarrassed I didn't know about it before.
Right.
Or I didn't make the effort to go out and see it before, because once I did, I've not stopped.
Yeah.
That's our BFI. That's our safe space. You go watch these shows and you'll realise why Little English got made. And you'll realise that Little English is not a one-off, because he's doing that 3-4 times a year with his plays. And the audiences are in stitches, they're laughing. It's something that I want to tell all my family about, and I have told them about. He's a genius. He knows his audience.
He is a genius, honestly. Like after watching the film, I just was like, why? Like exactly like you. Like, where have I been? Like, why haven't I seen any of your other productions? And, you know, have I been hiding under a rock kind of thing? But it does make me question sort of like not question really, because that's like, let me rephrase that. So it does make me think about your journey as an actor and your exposure to like roles that are available to you, but also like your view in like your space in this industry. Because like, it's not easy for an actor. Do you know what I mean? It's not
for podcasters either, though, is it? Like,
no, and it's because it's such a saturated like market and industry. It's so saturated, and then like we haven't really like had our own platform. I feel like the South Asian community within like media, film and theatre is starting to really have its momentum like now. Like I personally feel, and there has always been like Bollywood or like the Hindi, Indian cinema film industry, which again I think is having such a different change and shift in like how they tell stories, like the stories they want to tell. Like we're really starting to find our voice, I think. And
in Britain.
But also like even watching the Oscars recently, like I was up with really bad back pain, so I was watching the Oscars, and I honestly got like so emotional watching Nathu Nathu being performed on that stage, like it winning, Elephant Whisperers winning, like seeing Deepika Padukone like present at the Oscars, and it's like, damn, we in here, baby, like we're here. But from your point of view, do you feel like you're able to have more opportunities and things come to you now? Because I know we spoke beforehand about how many people are coming up to you like, you've made it, you're gonna do it, sort of thing, and you're like, that's not the reality of it.
It definitely offers a distorted sort of vision of events. I think people think, oh, you filmed this. Also, it's so funny, like when I tell people in the gym, you know, or they say, oh, you're in that film. I'm like, yeah, man. So how much do you get paid?
Yeah.
Straight away. Like, no, man, I do it for free.
Yeah.
But in terms of like how is it accessible and whatnot? Yes and no. Like we could sit here and I could sort of get down about it and focus on the negatives, and you know, it could easily go down that way. But the glass is half full. It's about what I bring to it as well, and ultimately, I believe in the power of the universe, and what I put in is going to be reciprocated. So if things aren't going well or things aren't working out, my first thought isn't. Well, of course, the first thought is a little bit of self-loathing there, going, "Oh man, that should have gone my way. My tape was amazing. My audition was so good." But I've just learned to accept like whatever's meant to be, whatever's meant to be. Because I think about some of these projects in the past couple of years, like really big projects that I thought my audition was amazing for, and you're wondering like, are they even seeing it? Is it getting lost in whatever? And I'm like, that's my dream to go and do that, you know, and to be part of that project and work with that actor that's attached, whatever. And then a few years later, or like maybe a year later or a couple of months later, I get the audition for Little English, and I get that, and now I'm looking back on it. Okay, cool. If I got that first project that I really wanted, I wouldn't have been able to do Little English. So that was my path, you know, and it's me meeting it halfway. It's not me just expecting, oh man, this isn't going for me, that isn't going for me. Like I still go to class. Like I was saying today, I was at a class.
Yeah.
Because I can't let someone else's yes or no control my progress.
Yeah.
Like if I want to get good as an actor, I can go to classes, I can read plays, I can practice. No one's telling me you can't practice. No one's telling me you can't, you know, if you're an artist or you're drawing, do you wait for someone to say, oh yeah, like let me commission a piece? You're drawing every day, you're practicing every day. And there's so many things that we can be doing that I can be doing. So my thought is, cool, that doesn't sort of align. What am I lacking right now? What do I need to work on? That's just my mentality. But that's come after a long time of missing out on things and being like, oh, that didn't work. And just losing my sense of play.
Yeah.
When it becomes about the end goal of I didn't get the job, well, forget the job. Why am I letting that ruin my love of this craft and this hobby or this job and this lifestyle? When I was doing it for drama GCSE, or I was doing it at A level, I was doing it part-time after uni, I was in love with it. And I wasn't working then, I wasn't getting paid for it then. So why can't I still enjoy it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some beautiful words, man. Well done.
I know, you're actually really like...
How old are you? He's 26, I already know.
Oh my god. Wow, I was getting baited. Yeah, I'm 26.
Listen, I'm older, so...
Don't look at me with my bloody bad bag. Come on.
They're twins, by the way.
Honestly, like that is a really good way of looking at just life in general.
I think I've learned that. I've learned that though. Like I felt that frustration, and I felt that sort of the doors being locked.
Yeah.
And not having the key, and it feels so like, well, how do I do this? How do I get to that place? I don't need to get to that place. Let me enjoy where I am now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Something I need to learn more of, definitely. I don't know if it's like this pressure because I'm like approaching 30 and I'm like, I need to do something.
But you know what? You know what's mad about that? When you were 20, you were like, oh my god, I'm 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you were 25, you're like, oh my god. When I was 20, I thought, oh my god. But now I'm 25. It's crazy. And now you're 30.
Yeah.
When you're 35, you're gonna be like, why did I think that when I was 30?
Yeah. Yeah.
When
It's
you're
always
40,
the way.
You're like, I was so stupid for thinking that when I was 30. It's always gonna happen. It's like doing GCSEs. When you do, they're so hard. You do A levels. Oh man, GCSEs were easy. You do it uni degree.
Yeah,
A levels are so easy. It's always in hindsight, man.
Yeah.
Just succumb to the moment and embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace.
And that brings us to the sponsor of this week's podcast. Embrace. For straighter teeth.
You know what I want to talk about so randomly, but like it was bugging me watching the film initially, right? Yeah. Harry eats beans out of a can.
He does, yeah.
And I was watching this and I was like, there's no way any Indian person doesn't dark up their beans. Yeah, I was like, what the F is this? What Indian person does this? Who
Harry.
eats beans out of a can?
Does, not
so
Harry
mad.
Someone who calls himself Harry,
I know.
Middle name's Heinz. He's got a German grandfather.
I was watching that and like... And then Simi comes in and she's like, a little English, little Indian. And I was like, yeah. Masala's up the beans.
But I think that's such a lovely metaphor.
So
though, right?
lovely.
It's
so
beans,
lovely.
It's
Yeah.
beans. But she's desified it. And
Yeah.
it's the mixture of both worlds, which is in some way modern day Britain.
Yeah.
Like how incredible.
And also like that's when you start to like become softer and warmer to her. Like your character in the film is just like,
Yeah, because I can see her making an effort.
Yeah.
And, like, she's obviously taken something that's close to me, which is beans in this case, and she's put a twist on it to kind of show, like, make me feel at home, but also you can still be connected to your roots.
Yeah.
Beans, what a metaphor, man.
beans. Like, yeah, I just couldn't believe the rage in me. I was like, who eats plain beans out of a can? No
It's a
one
thing,
does
though.
that.
It's a thing.
Do you think?
I've done it once because they did it in Tracy Beaker.
Oh, they did.
And
Miss
I was
Tracy
like,
Beaker.
I took the lid off and I was like, I'm just going to have it out of the thing.
Oh,
It was
good.
alright.
You were giving me Elaine Paynes when I was watching you. Like, yes, please. No, but I thought that was so good. And then, yeah, it shows like her character in the film really, because not only does she sort of like make your character's like heart sort of like soften a little bit and things, but even I thought was so interesting. Again, like the film does such a good job of representation and looks into like lives of South Asian people. And oh god, so please remind me of the sister-in-law's name.
Oh, Goldie, that's my sister.
Goldie. Her character, amazing. And again, like she is comedic, but then again like reflects that sort of you know, not evil sister-in-law, but there's always one
But like
sister-in-law.
kind of the stereotypical kind of
Yeah.
resentment, right?
Right.
It's that resentment that I think,
Yeah.
I think my character embodies a little bit as well in terms of Tassimi, because
Yeah.
she's come over and because Goldie's husband Amit is from Punjab and they're communicating in Punjabi, and I think Goldie's character feels a little bit left out in that, oh, she's got a connection to my husband when I might not have that same familiarity.
Yeah.
So there's that resentment that, oh, you know, she speaks Punjabi so well, so let's just sort of like shut her out and try to turn everyone against her. But then, yeah, without giving too many spoilers away, like...
No, it is nice. Like, there is, and, you know, eventually she does come around, like, really
Simi's
warms
that
to
nucleus,
Simi.
right?
Yeah.
She connects everyone to their roots and everyone to each other
Yeah.
in such a sort of endearing way.
And that is the importance of a daughter-in-law in a family anyway. Like, they are kind of there to kind of weirdly stereotypically serve their family, but also like kind of they're new into this family. The daughter-in-law is new, brought into the family, and they kind of restore that faith. I feel that's a lot. Is in many Star Plus dramas.
I wouldn't know about that. I'll be honest. I wouldn't know about that.
No.
No, because you got like a chill family. Yeah, is your family chill? Because the other question I wanted to ask you is, what was your family's reaction or attitude towards you wanting to be an actor? Because that's not like doctor, lawyer, dentist.
God,
You know what I mean?
No,
like,
I think we hate all that. And
yeah.
You know what? Even hearing that on screen, you know, or hearing that in someone's stand-up routine.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, come on, man. Like, we're so past that. Like, that was a joke from like 30 years ago. Surely, goodness gracious me. Like, it's the same when you watch stand-up and it's something that you're really rooting for because they're Indian or they're Desi or they're you know, from South Asia, and it's like their punchline is like a terrorism thing, and it's like, oh man, like you don't have to do.
But and I feel like maybe I don't know if like the community or like in the industry felt the need to like own the joke of it, or if other people are making that, like, we'll just own it sort of thing, and then we're in the space.
I think it's the way in. It's the easy way in. It's sort of the easy sort of, I know I'm going to get a laugh.
Yeah.
I know I'll be put on stage. I know that it's like, it's the fallback, but it's like, I don't think I could ever do that. I don't think I could ever do that because it's just, like, this film speaks to me. Because there's so much heart and there's so much truth, and it's my truth. Yeah. And it's relevant and it's now. If we're doing something where, you know, there's so much more racism in the film, and it's a bit darker, and the mother-in-law is so sort of like controlling and evil, and it was like, I don't think you'd get the same actors wanting to be a part of this project, and I don't think you'd get the audience reaction, and I don't think you'd get the love of the film and the meaning and the warmth and the value that it holds in people's hearts. You wouldn't get that. And
this is such a like a British Asian, like I think it embodies so much of us as British and Asians together, and I think that's
without having to have like a white character to help explain our story.
Exactly.
For me especially, I say, like, it's crazy, but like, I'm promoting a film, telling people to go watch this film, but it doesn't belong to me. It's not my film. Like, I'm in it, but it belongs to everyone who goes to see it. It's not just about the acting. It's a celebration of South Asian culture. The music's done by Shin DCS. The score's composed by Niraj Chugh, who is phenomenal. Like, phenomenal. Every time I watch that, it's like the music, the tabla, the tumbi. Oh my God, it's beautiful. And I don't know any other film that sort of has all these elements together. Whereas the acting, it's a film, of course, the acting is centre stage, but the other components are supporting acts.
Yeah.
And one thing wouldn't be complete without the other. And it's amazing, man.
It's so well-rounded, the film. It hits on so many, like, there's so many other points, like even interracial relationships.
Yeah, massive. Yeah, man.
What else is there?
I mean, you know, like we were saying at the beginning, mental health and like Indian family life, dysfunctional Indian family life. I mean, we can all relate to that.
Yeah, dynamics.
Especially in Asian families, Asian Indian families. Yeah, we can really relate to
arranged marriages, love marriages.
But arranged marriages not in the sort of stereotypical sense where the girl's the damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Because even if that was the case and I'd be watching that film, I'd go, oh my God, man. Am I perpetuating that stereotype again? Like, that falls in the category of the doctor, lawyer, terrorism sort of tropes that we tend to follow. But it takes that, it's so clever, and it just flips it on its head.
Yeah.
Because she is feisty.
Yeah.
She's not taking any shit from anyone. She's sticking up for her. She's not comprising herself and her identity.
Yeah.
She's embodying that and infecting everyone else with that.
Yeah.
Through her authenticity, and I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And again, like such a great reflection, I think, of Punjabi culture in particular, because that is that sense of strength that she really evokes. And I think that is so strong in the community as well.
But that doesn't have to be just British Punjabi women. It can
No.
any
Yeah.
women. And it's that thing of like, typically women might be written as the sort of lower status. They're going to just take everything from the mother-in-law and like succumb and, you know, learn their ways. But no, she's like...
No. And she holds it. Like, you know, I was actually quite... I feel like I'm going to give too much away, but like... She has her passport held from her, from like her mother-in-law, and that was so scary to me. I'm like, oh my god, like what world are we living in? Do you know what I mean?
That actually does happen.
Yeah,
it does happen.
Yeah.
It does happen.
Yeah.
It reflects so much of the truth that we live in, without sort of playing on those narratives to get cheap laughs or cheap views.
Yeah.
Like, we're attracting the right crowd.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
And I think audiences and people like you appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because we're so sick of... And actors as well, reading scripts, we were like... Seriously, man? Okay.
Yeah,
fine,
I mean, when the film
whatever.
finished, we were kind of, you know, in the Q&A finished, we were kind of like clapping to leave to go into the main foyer thing, whatever. And I remember when I was just standing up and we were standing next to a girl from another podcast, Brown Girls Do It Too, shout out. And you guys were just like, thank you, well done, honestly, thank you so fucking much. Like, it was so...
Yeah. And we had the same reaction to like every little thing in the film. Like we were like crying together, like like laughing together, like everything was the same. And like I think that was such a good reflection of like what the film does. Do you know what I mean? Like
we had one screening in Birmingham last year, and it was like a homecoming.
Yeah.
Really?
Like firstly, everyone comes in late, like halfway through the film. That doesn't matter. But the moments where certain things happen, they're laughing out loud, and it's in the trailer. I can say the bit where Simi goes, "Black Lives Matter."
Yeah.
Not to be that is the question. They start clapping like they're clapping for like a minute, and I'm like, guys, shut up. My line's next, man. But they're clapping.
Yeah.
And there's so much emotion and love and sort of engagement in that room. I've never. It was like going to like a Marvel film at midnight.
Yeah.
On release day, I've not seen anything like that since then, and I was like, oh my god, this is the effect that this film has on people.
Yeah. It's odd. A film
and the gasps at certain moments. Like I've never heard such an audible gasp before. Like a room full of 200 people going, oh my god.
I did it a few times. Honestly, there was a few things.
I just thought you had asthma. I'm not gonna lie. Someone get her inhaler.
It's
man.
just because you take my breath away.
She's 30 now. She's got asthma.
She's only 29. She's gonna kill you after
You're
this.
20 fine, baby. That's what you should be saying.
25 drinking wine.
Thank you.
£9 sponsor.
But yeah, I mean, this is such an amazing film. I'm so glad that, you know, it's got some sort of voice. I wish that it was bigger, or genuinely. Like,
no, it's going there. It's going there.
We were comparing it to Bend It Like Beckham and just saying how like this is kind of like the new Bend It Like Beckham with an all Indian Asian cast. Like it's amazing.
People do say, oh, you know, this film reminds me so much of Bend It Like Beckham, and I'm like, okay.
But I think for maybe not necessarily like in terms of storyline or anything like that, but maybe for me personally, it's the feeling I get of watching something where I feel represented.
That's what I'm saying to people, like, I get it, the feeling's amazing, but for me, the film's not similar to Bend It Like Beckham. If someone asked me that question, I'd say, cool, name me like 3 other films with South Asians in it since then, and they can't.
Yeah.
And I say, well, that's the only recent memory you have is why you're saying that. But also, to be compared to that film is like top tier.
Yeah.
It's just a feeling of being like seen and heard and represented, and kind of like identifying like, oh, that's like my toucher, or that's like my aunt.
Oh, we
get
that all the time. We come up like, no, you remind me of my brother. You remind me of my granddad, and like, oh, Madhu who plays the Bauji.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, man! There's one bit at the end. It breaks my heart every time I watch it. I literally walked into a screening in Dalston the other day. We had a Q&A after. I walked in at the end, and I just sat down and I watched that line, and I'm crying because he's a granddad who's got dementia, and like
he's the cutest.
It did make me cry, and it really, really hit home for me because I don't think like that's shown in
No.
in anything to do with South Asian culture or community or anything. It's not shown. And our grandma has Alzheimer's, and I was watching it and I could tell already he's got dementia or something, and I was like, I could just feel the eyes, they're filling up with tears, and I was like,
but how nice to touch on it without making it sort of the detriment to the family. Like it was shown in such a beautiful way without hiding anything, but how everyone sort of deals with it at the same time, and how when he does remember, those moments are like straight to the heart, and so meaningful and beautiful. I feel like I'm gonna give too much away.
I know. I hope we're not.
We're in Cineworld, Feltham, Hounslow, South Ruislip, View, Westfield, Stratford, Shepherd's Bush, Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds. Check it out, man.
No, honestly, and like I don't think we've ever had like a podcast where we've discussed the film so much. Like,
I think we need a separate one with everyone.
Yeah. Honestly, because there is so many layers to the film. There's so many like
and
themes,
I feel like I'm not doing it
topics.
justice. Like in terms of from like objectively, maybe subjectively, because
You're doing a good job.
Amazing job. And you know, if you don't go see the film for any of the reasons we've just discussed, do it just to see Viraj's abs in a really big way, like on a big screen, and it's just like.
That's why I keep this book another 4 times to go to it. And she's taking a glass of wine and French accent.
Every time.
We're going actually next week to the Hammersmith Riverside Studio
Riverside, on the 31st
screening.
with a Q&A.
That's how much we love the film.
Yeah.
I'm going twice. But yeah, just before we end it here, I just would love to know what is next for you, Viraj.
So yeah, another thing I mentioned before in terms of like not feeling like I'm losing control and progressing. Another thing I like to do is write my own work and create my own content. So in the past, I made a couple of Southall videos on YouTube. Please check them out.
Amazing! I know, and it's so weird. I still didn't clock that was you. Like, when
you seen them?
Yeah. I've seen them. Because UB1, UB2 be like posting them all the time, and I'm like,
Yeah, so and I made this short film a couple of years ago called Football as well.
Yeah.
Which is on YouTube. Did really well. Got into UKAAF actually.
Oh, so
FF. UKAFF.
Yeah.
Yeah, got into that. Filmed it at my auntie's house, and wrote it, directed it, acted in it, submitted it. Got into that film festival, which was like, oh, cool. All right, I'll take that. And then just want to make more stuff. So got a project that I'm currently developing with Rivco.
Yeah.
With
Nice.
Pravesh and with Amit, who's potentially playing someone close to me. So excited for that, and I'll let you know if anything happens. So.
Yeah, please do, because I'm not joking and like not trying to gas you or anything, but like really huge fan of your work and you personally. Like I was like had such a bad back for the last 2 weeks, and I was like, I do not care. Like I've been looking forward to this podcast for so long.
Man. So have I. Finally got invited on. Finally. All it took was a film. Do you know what I mean?
Only, yeah. But even
like it took me getting topless. That was it. God's sake.
Take it off.
Oh my gosh! Before we go, can we please go there?
What?
The end scene.
Oh, the kiss.
Oh my God.
Can we talk about it?
I don't think we can.
Why?
I don't think we can.
No, just because
not
giving
miss
it
out
away.
now.
Yeah, a little bit. It is a little bit. Yeah. I think they did say don't.
Okay, edit it out.
Somebody's frustrated.
Yeah.
What is that like for you though, to try and be like intimate on screen?
It's part of the job.
Yeah.
It's part of the job. I mean,
She's an actor.
In the same way when you have to be emotionally vulnerable, you know? Kissing's easy. But to really get into an emotional scene and to really be present, that's what stays with you.
Yeah.
That's what really stays with you. Like the scenes I did with Simo, who plays mum, like some of those scenes, like
They're emotional,
really
right?
intense, really intense, and they really stayed with me. And you'd go off after, you'd come outside, and you'd just like hug each other and cry.
Yeah.
Because like to get into that mindset, that's the hard part. That's the work. But to kiss someone, catch me on a Friday night.
Well, I don't know, because like sometimes you can tell on screen if like a kiss is bad. Do you know what I mean? And I was gonna say yours look pretty nice.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I had a feeling you'd say that, but
Yeah.
but no. Again, it's just also I think the person you're working with is you have to be comfortable with them.
Yeah.
And like I said, just knowing it's for the job.
Yeah.
And I got on with Ramit so well. Like from day one, it was just like, oh, this is amazing. And there was a little bit nervous because I never kissed anyone on screen before. So it was like, oh my God, like what are the do's, what are the don'ts? Do I just sort of, you know? But you want it to be authentic. And at the end of the day, once you're in the scene, they call action.
Yeah.
That goes away. Those inhibitions are gone, and you're just like, okay, this is the ending of
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
film or the
yeah.
moment where things happen. And, you
And
just
I like
go,
that there was a kiss as well because oh shit, can I say that?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, we just said intimate on screen, right?
Yeah.
Go on.
Oh, I like that there was a kiss because I mean, in so many films and TV shows where there's Indians, like they don't get to do that, but this is real life, and like yes, everyone
Authentic
kisses.
film. It's authentic film, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
authentic.
And it's-
Which is what
there are
everyone.
multiple characters who kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like the number one thing, like after like we'd all seen the film and we were going to like mingle, have drinks, have food and stuff, like everyone just kept repeating the word authentic. And I think that's massive because I just think we've been put in a box, or we.
But how crazy that a kiss is such like a
Yeah.
a conversation starter.
Yeah.
Like that's such a big thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you guys. I'm just saying in general when people see the film, how crazy we're in the 21st century.
Exactly, but this is the thing with Indian people, with Asians, like it's just such a like,
It's
oh
not
no, you
showed-
can't do
yeah.
that, you can't touch, you can't do, sex is signified by a flipping hug or a flower on a screen normally in an Indian film. Like this, like it's just normal. It's just normal.
putting the strand
Yeah.
of hair back behind the ear.
A hug.
Yeah, that shit is so intimate. Do you know what I mean? When a guy does that, when they like play with your hair like that,
Sounds
or
like
they
a lot
hold
of
your
Sounds
face.
like a lot of wine.
And then the girl's like, oh.
Who did you
yeah.
meet on the bus? Oh, okay.
No, but honestly, cannot.
But yeah, I think
say
just having those conversations. I think we got a way to go, man. Like there's so much. Like you're saying, we've been boxed in.
Yeah.
We've been encapsulated by so many stereotypes and like narratives that.
And I think actually what's really important to say as well is like, yeah, the film does look at a lot at our culture, like our behaviors towards each other, attitudes, everything, and how much like we do have to go. But I don't want to keep saying that like we're so regressive almost like to other societies in the world, because actually there's so many things to celebrate about our community, family dynamic,
Yeah,
culture.
but I mean, on screen, when have those been presented on screen?
Yeah,
I'm saying on screen we've got a long way to go.
Yeah,
in terms
yeah.
of putting those things, like the fact
Yeah,
that we saw a
absolutely.
Buja on screen, I was like, oh my god, this is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say as well. Like, I feel like again with when you look at Indian anything, it's always like, oh, you're kind of behind the rest of the world.
God,
Do you know what I
didn't,
mean?
Didn't the Kama Sutra come from India? Do you know what I mean? We write a book about it.
Yeah.
Where's the film adaptation of that? I'm joking.
There is actually.
Is there?
Yeah.
I trust you to know that as well. But like, yeah, do you know what I mean? It's just like, this is what I want to write.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is my truth. And Rivco do an amazing job because they support new writers and they got a scheme and they're putting on new plays and supporting new
amazing.
writing.
Yeah.
And it's people with their own truths of modern day Britain and sort of where they grew up and their upbringing, their story. And everyone's got a beautiful, wonderful, unique story to tell that will resonate with so many. And that's what we should be celebrating and sort of supporting.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's the new truths, our truths, right?
Yeah. 1000%. 1000%.
And with that, you guys need to go see Little English.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's out now. We're so proud of you. We're so
proud.
happy that we got to
I'm
podcast
so
with
happy to be
you.
here, honestly. Like, I love what you guys do as well.
Oh, thank
And
you.
so how I was saying to Tash in the car, how you
Fuck off.
how you shine a light on celebrating South Asian work.
Yeah.
And we need more of this.
Yeah.
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank
Less of
you.
our driving, but more of this.
Viraj is just happy like
You
he's
know, I
alive
bought
at
him
the
a
moment.
pint not to say anything, and you're just chatting shit still. Like
I'm surprised that
Reverse
he's getting the
pint.
bus home
I
here.
feel like she drank a few pints before kicking me out. I'll be honest.
It wasn't that bad.
I got out, I
Just
touched the
made
ground. I was like, thank you, God. We made it.
I'm just so glad someone's finally calling her out.
That was just a drive-in. Forget the parking. Oh my God. We didn't
I
actually
told you,
park.
no, I
The car's-
told
the
you
car's
that my
actually
parking
left
was
in the middle
bad.
of the road. It's actually left in the
No,
middle of the road.
I told
with
him
the
that my
flashing
parking was
lights.
bad. Like it was the narrow road, guys. I can't park like that.
She did the same thing like 5 times. She was like, okay, no.
You know, but he
no.
kept laughing at me, so it was
No,
making
but did
me
she say,
laugh.
this never happens? Like, it solely happens when someone's in the car with her. Yeah. She does it
I
every
get
time.
performance anxiety.
Yeah,
I'm like, you've got a podcast.
Every time. She's like, I swear this doesn't happen.
It doesn't.
She goes, this is not my car. I was like, is it even your license? It's like, you know that people go to like Mexico to like get those, like, transplants?
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
did you get your
This
license?
is all
in
getting
Mexico?
edited.
I felt like one of those instructions in the car. I was holding the thing at the top. I was like that. When your baby gets in the car, she's holding it. I was like, oh my God. I was like, the maps are saying straight. She's like, oh yeah, shit, sorry.
He's talking to me so much, I can't
She's like,
concentrate,
sorry.
man.
It's,
Like,
it's only added a day onto the trip. Don't worry. I'm like, great. Sick.
I was like 2 minutes on, he's crying. He's just lying by everything. Anyway.
It's a sign of a good driver.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We
What a
love
pleasure.
you.
First so many. Let's do this again.
No,
Yeah, for
please let's, because I feel like we've not even like got into the nitty gritties
part
of it
one.
all. Yeah, no, really and truly, like you're really, I need to say this, like you're really like such a enigmatic character. Do you know what I mean? Like you really, not even character, like a person, sorry, like you are, and your your warmth, your energy, your outlook on life, like we can feel that straight away. And even like, you know, seeing your videos and stuff when you've gone to like the cinema and you're interviewing people afterwards and things like that, like it's just, I don't know, you just have such a you're just, what a man, really. Do you know, that's what I'm trying to say. What a man.
That's the title of the podcast. What a man.
What a man.
2 chickpeas and what a man.
Yeah. And the outro is what a man, what a man, what a man, what a really good man. That's you.
I love it. Well, it's the energy in the room as well, what I bounce off.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think probably anyone would say, well, if you've got a podcast, you have to have that, but you know, not everyone does.
Viraj, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we
I love the twins, man. The twins are so sick.
There's nothing about us as twin. Like people don't usually know we're sisters.
Yeah, I know. And then when they find out you're twins, it's
yeah,
like,
you didn't even know we were just
I
we were
didn't.
sisters. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
But that's 2 chickpeas, man.
Well, it's the main
The
chickpea,
Johnny.
as Viraj is.
The Johnny.
Yeah, it's your girl Nikita.
It's been your girl Tash.
It's your boy Viraj Juneja. Check out Little English, Cineworld, View. Check out littleenglishfilm.com and follow me, Viraj_Juneja.
Yeah, honestly, for all the best, everything on there. Yeah.
And get duped, Amazon Prime.
And yes.
Yep.
Southall videos, YouTube, innit?
Yeah.
That's so funny in the gym when they're like, oh, boy, you're in the film? I'm like, yeah, man, yeah. Oh, wait, where is it? Cineworld, View, oh, boy, link, Heggy? YouTube, it's on YouTube. I'm like, nah, man.
Put looker.
You should put it on YouTube, man. On TikTok's great, man. I'm like, yeah, I just put it in 71 parts. I'll do that today. Thanks, man. Hashtag film. Film.
Film.
Thanks,
too
man.
good.
Thank you. What a podcast.
What a
Subscribe, comment, like.
All of that. Do you know
Smash
what?
that subscribe button.
You'll be like our sponsor, really. Like you
Thank you,
should.
man.
Yeah, you
I'm
should.
here every week.
Yeah.
No,
I would
no,
love that.
no,
I would
no,
love
it
that.
is.
Well, cheers, everyone. Thanks for. Well, no one's got anything
I
left.
got
That's
my
fine.
Bonnie.
Oh yeah,
I've got
Bonnie.
ages
She
to
got
go.
top up because she flirted with the guy. So bad.
That's how you get by in life.
He said, how are you gonna make it up to me?